Hello friends, it is Jane Odom from the AAC Language Lab here to do the live tip. So today we're going to talk about computer emulation. So one of the cool features of a communication device is the ability for it to become an alternative keyboard for a student to do some writing. And the AAC Language Lab, we're going to talk about one of our writing templates that we just added today. And so you're able to go in and turn on your computer emulation on a device, and that will allow you to connect with either a USB cable, or you can connect with a Bluetooth adapter if you want to go wireless. So basically, we would make sure that computer emulation is turned on in the device. So in my output menu on my device, I can make sure that I turn that on, and I want to use an external computer. So now this device is set up to send data out to a computer, and it's just that simple. And once you turn it on, boom, it's done, okay? And so now the USB cable that came with my device can get plugged in, and then the one end into the device, the other end into the computer. And then if I open up a Word document or a PowerPoint or an email, whatever I'm using, the device, then the student can now use their icon sequencing and it will show up as text on the computer. How cool is that? But even cooler is we have Bluetooth capabilities. So you can turn on the Bluetooth in your toolbox and then sync it with this little Bluetooth adapter. So you just simply pair it with this, and now this can be in the computer, and this will work wirelessly with that computer. So it's kind of cool and kind of high tech, and I will tell you that I have done this with students, and they just think it's like magic because they're hitting their icon sequences and it's coming up as text on the computer. So we've used this a variety of different ways. I had one student, Noah, who was just tired of circle time. I don't know why we think we need to do circle time for 21 years when a student is in school, but this kid was like, I am done. I do not want to do circle time anymore. And so the teacher asked me to come in and kind of look at how he was behaving, because oftentimes behaviors are caused by frustration with communication. And so he didn't know how to tell somebody that I'm bored, that I don't want to be in circle time. But we kind of figured it out because that's when his behaviors were happening. So what we did was 2 days a week, he had to go to circle time with the rest of the class, and then 3 days a week, he got journal time. So we had him answer, we would give him something to write about in his journal, but he would have to put the date, and he would have to put maybe how he was feeling. So everything that they were doing at circle time, he was adding into his journal entry, telling us his name, maybe talking about the weather, but then answering some other question. And all of a sudden, he got so much practice on his device. He was way better behaved, and he was still learning and doing the same content. So it was just like that student, that's what worked for him. Also, in middle school, kids, you get to that age, 12 or 13, when kids don't want to use their device anymore. So introducing computer emulation at that age can be really, really useful. So the kids really enjoy, because you can basically interact with whatever program you were using. So at that time, we were using IntelliTools, and there was all kinds of really cool activities, and you can now use PowerPoint and all kinds of other programs where you can add text into it, and that's going to get the student motivated to do a little bit more learning. So something about middle school, just kind of, kids just like shut down and don't want to use their talker. They don't want to be different. So computer emulation can be really, really helpful. Now, not every device can use that, and especially not apps. Apps don't have the ability to do computer emulation, and so then you're going to transcribe. And that's just as fine. Or maybe a peer tutor helps you do that. I mean, that's another really nice way to do it. So I was talking with one of our consultants, Heather, and she offered to do a writing template for me. And we thought about what is going on in this world right now. And this is pretty historical. And I think we're going to look back at this 10 years from now and say, look what we lived through. And so it's really important that our kids have a way to express themselves. So Heather helped me develop, I'm going to move over the little, help me develop a time capsule writing template. So you would start off talking, the student can just talk about the world today. What is going on today? How are you feeling about this? Are you scared? What is your mom doing? What are you guys doing differently? Maybe you're not going to school. Maybe your school is now on the computer. And so it gives them a way to kind of express themselves. And so whatever level that child is at, this is just a template that's going to take text, or maybe they cut pictures out of the newspaper or cut pictures out of a magazine or draw a picture themselves. So they can use this template any way that they want. All right, and then we're going to talk about, well, let's talk about like how you're feeling now. Who are you now? And so there one on favorites about who that person is. But we have 3 different versions for you to choose from. So you can choose based on your student, what their abilities are or what their preferences are. So we have a simple fill in the blank, my favorite, and they can talk about their color and what their favorite sport is and what their favorite food is and where they like to go. All right, and then, or they have a more open-ended one. And so in this one, the student can fill in these and write sentences or phrases or even just words, and then they can draw a picture, or again, cut that picture out of a magazine or find that picture on a computer, all right, because these are PDF files, so anything can be entered into them. And then there's another open-ended one where you have a little bit more space to add more text. So if you have a more advanced communicator, they can write a whole story about who they are and what they like today as we are today. And then we have the ones that are, well, what's it going to be like in 10 years? So this is kind of interesting because now they can kind of think about, well, where do you think you're going to be in 10 years? You know, so maybe if your student is, 10 years old, where are you going to be when you're 20? And it's really interesting to kind of get them to think about that. And you can kind of get, like, where do they think they want to be? And what are they going to be doing when they're that age? And who's going to be with them? And what do they hope to have? All right. And so you have, again, a simple fill in the blank one. You have one that has a couple spaces to add sentences or phrases or even a list of words. And then the ability to put a drawing or add a graphic. And then you have another one where they can write a whole entire story. So we try to give you enough that you can pick and choose what is going to be most appropriate for your student. So there is a video that we just posted on Facebook showing you this with a link to where you can find this on the Language Lab. So get your kids writing. It's a great way to practice language. It's a great way that you can model language. And it's also nice because when you're writing, you can kind of edit it as well. And so you can say, is this really what you wanted to say? Can we make this sound a little bit better? And I do this with the adults that I work with all the time. So I have AAC users that blog for me. And so sometimes I send it back to them and I say, all right, you need to reread this because it doesn't really make sense. And that's fine because the finished product is what you're going to show to the world. And so the writing templates allow you to do that.